This is the Solé It's Early Show with special guest Rubin, musical guest The Lucky Ones, and comedian Peggy Sinnott. I'm Chip Whipple, and now here's your host Ben Goldsmith.
Thank you, Chip. Welcome everyone to the Solé It's Early Show. I'm your host, Ben Goldsmith. This is the show where we introduce you to people that are worthy of introducing you to. It's like if you went to a party, right? And you knew one person and you knew the other person, but they didn't know each other. And then you would say something like, oh, how rude of you guys not to introduce yourselves to one another. You're adults. You should know how to do that by now. Why is that up to me? Why is that my responsibility? Can anybody tell me? The house is stacked. The cards are set. We've got special guest Rubin with Solé Bicycles here. He brought some bikes. We're going to go out to the canals, maybe have an ice cream cone if there's time. I don't know. Maybe we can pack a picnic. I would love to pack a picnic. It's always fun to pack a picnic. We also have, for the very first time, our very first band on the show, The Lucky Ones. We're going to hear their sweet stylings. And then we've got comedian Peggy Sinnott in the building, and we're going to sit down and talk to her all about her comedy, what makes her laugh, what she finds funny, and we're also going to see a little bit of a performance of her own. You're here, I'm here, that's all that matters. Let's start the show. Where'd it go? That one literally, I think, disappeared into thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Rubin, is here with Solé Bicycles. Brian.
Nice to meet you, man.
Oh my gosh, okay, so Solé Bicycles, you guys are here in Venice.
Yep.
Tell me about the genesis of Solé Bicycles.
Yeah, so this was kind of a passion project that started back in college, in the college days, a long, long time ago. It was just our senior year, we were walking home from class, and everyone at USC at the time, which is where we went to school, everyone at that time was riding beach cruisers. So your classic, heavy, clanky, beach cruisers that you see along the beach. Everyone has them, and we're walking home from class, and we saw kids riding what at the time were fixed gear or fixies. We had never seen those before, but we were really interested in them and how to get them. So we just went up to the kids who were riding the bikes. We said, "Hey, where'd you get them? How much you pay for them?" And their response was, "We built them ourselves, and it costs anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500."
What?
Yeah, so
that's how much those things cost?
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's what we couldn't understand. Something so simple.
I mean, but they don't even make much sense, because we now live in an age when we have many gears to help us up hills and make us go faster.
Exactly.
So it's a lot more money for something that makes less sense.
Exactly, and at the time the beach cruisers, you could find a cheap shitty one for $100 used or whatever. So for us, it was like, as broke college kids, we that kind of the light bulb. It's like, how do we want those bikes, but we can't afford it? How do we get those? So that was the genesis, the actual the moment that we thought to ourselves, how do we get our hands on this bike?
It always comes from what if.
Right.
What if this thing that doesn't exist existed? What would that be like? And then all of a sudden you just start running towards that.
I mean, a lot of the color schemes and sort of like brand direction we had, it was sitting around, we would pull up a shoe or a snowboard color or what if we put this color on our, right? Like that's how the genesis of those ideas start. So I agree with you.
I think we should go do what people are meant to do on bikes, which is go out and have a good time.
Let's do it.
So the best part about bikes is you can kind of do whatever you want. People have to kind of work around you. The only downside is you might, die.
Like I said, that we had that fixed gear bike, which you saw over there. This is our second model that we introduced. With this profile is a mix between a beach cruiser and that fixed gear bike. So still great for commute. The aesthetic, it's a little more upscale. And then we introduced a 3-speed version of this, which was suited for areas that you need to go up and down hills, things like that. And if you really want to get going, you could ride this thing 15 miles a day, easy.
We should get going. Let's get going. Fire up those
the
quads,
glutes.
guys!
No, the glutes.
Woo!
The quads.
Well, she moonlight and he go down to doobie-da. In the middle of the sun, well, she's shining so bright. Oh, now you go wide. Out in the ocean, and feeling alright in the loving in the ocean family where you know so good.
thank you, Solé Bicycles, and thank you, Brian Ruben, for swinging by. I'm actually really excited. We've got this really cool new in-house band. I know it's episode 3, but we just got them here. I would like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Futch and Freeze.
It's okay. So bonding, guys.
Futch and Freeze. Is it Freeze or
Fritz.
Freeze or Fritz?
Freeze.
Okay. Futch and Freeze.
She's a rich girl, and she flies to outer space, and you know it don't matter if you think. She gonna lie if you have a lot of monies. You're gonna lie if you're old man, honeys. Summer lovin', had such a flash. Summer lovin', it's boots in my pipe. We make love as much as we be.
As these are boots, my bristles are freeze. It's summer days, twisted and back over on the summer.
This beat is my recital. It's my time to recital. You got the rock and rock some time. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around to also around this right on time. It's tricky. It's okay.
I can barely understand. Are they saying anything? Are you guys speaking? What language is that?
Darts.
No, what are you saying? I don't understand.
Pizza party.
Okay, that made it more confusing.
Tonight. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, so thank you, Futch and Freeze. All right, everybody put it together for Futch and Freeze. Strange. Very strange. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Lucky Ones. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
If you guys would be so kind to introduce yourself one at a time, we'd love to get to know you as individuals before we get to know you as a band.
I'm Dan, lead guitar player.
Adam, singer-songwriter.
And I'm Alonso. I play some bass and percussion.
You kind of fill in all the
Jack
needs.
of all trades.
Yeah,
Everything else,
The show
yeah.
has to go on.
Guys, tell me about the Lucky Ones. What kind of music do you throw down?
So we're an eclectic mix of, I'd say, beach, rock, reggae. So rock genre is affiliated from Dan, his Led Zeppelin, sort of rock Hendrix background, and reggae backbone provided by Mr. Alonso Vargas right here on the bass and percussion, kind of filling out the sound. And then just an eclectic mix of where we grew up, kind of living by the beach, in the islands, down Caribbean vibes. Reggae was king down there, so bringing those influences up to California.
Tell me about when you guys are. I've always wanted to know this about bands. Is like when you guys get together, how much are you making music and how much are you having fun? And
We like to call ourselves the lucky ones. We feel like we're privileged and able to live an amazing life. We get to do what we love for a living. You know, we play music for a living, we travel, we surf together, and we get to go out and, make people happy, and that makes us feel like we're doing something positive in this world.
Yeah.
So I think with that said, we just, we influence each other, we help each other, we're brothers, and, we try to spread that message of, good vibes, positive energy, and rock and roll.
let's hear it live here. It's not live, but we're gonna call it live. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lucky Ones.
Casually switch locations and a positive good vibrations with a taste for invitations and become more obvious. Baby girl, I want you, I need you. Let me make you my sweet, sweet love. I want you, and I know you want me to. Hey. Whoa, whoa, now. Yeah. Oh, let's just lose this flashing crowd and go somewhere we can be louder too. Long after the sun goes down, make your heart sweat, scream and shout, because girl, I want you, I need you. Let me make you my sweet, sweet love. I want you, and I know you want me too. Hey, go now, yeah.
That was awesome, guys. Good job.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for
That's
having us.
yeah. You're
yeah.
very welcome. Look, I want you guys to sell all the EPs in the land. So why don't we have you guys promote your EP and where we can find more of you?
So absolutely, yeah. We're you can check us out at thelukyonesband.com, our Instagram at thelukyonesband, Facebook, The Lucky Ones, and the EP will be available for download and for streaming on Spotify, iTunes in April. So you can check that out. It'll be Lucky by Nature EP, Lucky Ones Band. We are the Lucky Ones. Phew.
I've got so much stuff to do. I gotta go to Trader Joe's. I have to pick up my dog. I have to get my cat neutered.
I'm Ben Goldsmith,
And I'm Jessica McMillin.
and this is Real Fake News.
The Rio Canal has closed for poor infrastructure repair. Dick Tripoli is on the scene. What can you tell us, Dick?
Thank you, Jessica. The Rio Canal has closed for poor infrastructure repair. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, Dick.
A goldfish named Bruce is going to be the sponsor of the all-you-can-eat toy drive being brought to you by Parker & Parker, the baby company.
Do they actually produce babies or baby stuff?
They produce babies.
Wow. Igloos in Tijuana, Mexico are beginning to trend with local corn vendors. They've got corn, they've got ice. Now all they need is a long-term relationship to give their life's purpose.
I would love to go to Tijuana and find myself in an igloo eating corn.
Me too. It
Sweet
sounds
corn. Creamy corn, maybe.
I like the way you say corn.
Do you like corn?
A taxi cab driver named Titbo Maran has just sent it in, and turned a browner.
Cold Stone's Creamery will be open for another 4 years, according to 5-year-old Peter Poppingheimer of Glencoe Lane. Here's what Peter had to say. Peter?
My name's Peter, and I like ice cream.
Wow, thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Peter.
I'm Ben Goldsmith.
And I'm Jessica McMillin.
And this was Real Fake News.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for comedian Peggy Sinnott. Peggy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for coming. Peggy, let's talk about anxiety, because it's so, you know, you've mentioned that you've got a lot of anxiety, and I find stand-up comedy to be the most anxiety. It's full of anxiety. So tell me about your anxiety and how you continue to pursue stand-up comedy.
So, I'm working on identifying what kind of anxiety I have. My therapist, Abby, thinks that I have ruminating thoughts, which means that I just have, like, constant... If I'm alone, my brain is just going. Like, I'm thinking about the future. I'm just a little fucking vampire stressed about my career. It's, like, not interesting, and it's not cool. So that, like... And, you know, it's just painful to be like, oh, I've always been this way. I've always had stupid amounts of anxiety, and that's who I am. But performing has always been, like, a release of that for me. Because, like we were saying, like, it forces you to be present. If someone was, like, gun to my head, like, do a TED Talk in another language, I'd be like... Guacamole. Me gusta guacamole. Cada dia yo quiero guacamole. A mi abuela también. Guacamole. ¿Saben ustedes que en el Pollo Loco guacamole es gratis? That means free. Pero en Chipotle, guacamole Ivette. I'm at Peggy Sinnott, at PeggysInnott, on every platform except Gmail because an old lady took that already.
Peggy, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Peggy Sinnott. Now, your dance move of the week. I want to thank our very special guest, Brian Ruben with Solé Bicycles representing. I also want to thank the Lucky Ones, and I want to thank comedian Peggy Sinnott for joining us on our show. This week's dance move of the week is called the Sculptor. And what you're going to want to do is you just want to be like a sculptor sculpting clay, okay? Now, if there's actually a person in front of you, I'd advise you to make eye contact unless you're sculpting part of their body, right? And put your body into it. When you do it, you want to mimic the sculptor. The sculptor wants to mimic the sculpture.
Back to me, clarity, stir money, what is